Hey everybody, it's me Gilbert Cumberledge, certified elite one-stroke instructor. Today I'm just going to be demonstrating a simple watercolor that I'm doing here on a mixed media. This is a 5x7 Canson mixed media paper, and I've just sketched out a dragonfly here. I'm just going to pick up a number 2 liner, but you can use any brush, round brush or whatever you have. And I'm going to be using some, these are actually face and body paints, but they act like watercolor because they are water activated. So these are the paints I'm going to be using today. You could use acrylics that are watered down, or you can use actual watercolor themselves. So I'm going to start by getting my brush wet and putting some water into the area of the wings here in the dragonfly. And this is called the wet into wet technique. So I'm just wetting the paper here and kind of filling in this top wing here. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to my paint and I'm going to work in some of this pink here, or sorry, purple. Actually, that's not the color I want. I want to use this magenta looking color here. And I'm just going to tap into some areas here. I don't know if you can see, but this is like a glisten. You see how it's just starting to spread easily? Okay. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to rinse that out real quick. I'm going to come back and get some dark blue. And I'm just going to touch and let the paint go where it would like to go. Okay. So you can see I kind of got it darker over here. And typically watercolor tends to dry lighter when it's drying. So these will probably lessen up, and if it doesn't, then there's a trick I can teach you to make that. I'm gonna get a little bit of pink into this top area here. Okay. Now I'm gonna bring this water down to the second wing here. Okay, I'm going to pick up the colors. I really like the way this has like a bleeding effect. I'm going to pick up that blue. And maybe I have a little too much water, so I'm going to pick some up with my brush. Just like that, by wiping it off onto a paper towel. Okay. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the extra color up here. You can move it around a little bit if you'd like, or you can let the water just do its thing. I'm going to touch some blue into this area. Alright, I'm going to come over to this side. Again, just wetting that wing. And that looks a little bit too heavy there. I'm going to take some water over to the top wing here. Alright, I'm going to pick up the colors again. It's really fun just to tap and let the colors go where the water is already into the paper. And see how it affects the look. I'm going to pick up some blue. So on this side, the water was a bit more on the petals, and you can see it's more doing more of a direct action here with tapping and letting it sink into the wings. But what I can do is I can bring some moisture with my brush and just tap into some areas and let that flow into one another. There we go. You can soften it as well by just going over some areas. Just like that. I gotta be careful so I don't go over these outlines that I've created here. There's also a technique you can do with salt. You just throw it onto your watercolor when it's wet, and it adds some really cool star effect to the painting. I don't think I have any salt on hand where I could show you. I'm gonna pull some of this blue up. So what I'm doing here is I'm just bringing some water, a little too much actually, with my brush, and you can see I'm pulling some of that heavy color out just by bringing some water in here and picking up, reactivating that paint and bringing it out. There we go. And every time I'm moving away, I'm wiping my brush on a paper towel and getting that moisture out. So I really like the way this looks on this side here. And if I wanted to get that kind of same effect up here, let me take some of this water out. Okay, I'm going to touch some blue. Get some of that pink in here, magenta. And kind of smooth it out a bit. Okay, and I'm just going to lift some of that color up. Or you could leave it the way you had it. I kind of like the splotchy look a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter aqua color to this top and just let it sit in there. Okay, so for the body, I'm going to again just add some moisture to the areas that I want to paint, and I'm going to use like a light green color. I'm going to add a little bit of darkening onto the left side of it by picking up a little bit darker shade. That's a little bit too wet. There we go. And you can always pull that color back. You see I'm pushing that color back with my brush and pulling it out. So we kind of got a two-tone body there. Okay. Now, this next part, I'm going to just put some water down in different areas. We're going to get like a fly speck appearance. So this is a lot of fun with watercolor. I'm just going to tap the brush and get some water going in different areas. This is one way that it can be done. And then I'm going to pick up complementary colors and lay them down on here. So I'm going to pick up like a orange yellow color, and all I'm doing is making that super wet on my palette over here, and then I'm just going to touch and let that hit the background. Have fun with it, be creative. You do want to be mindful of what colors you pick though, because you don't want a muddy mess to ruin your painting. So that's like an orange yellow. I'm going to pick up a let's do a little bit of a red. And this is just a watery mixture that I'm picking up with my brush here and tapping it into the already water spots on my paper. Okay. And let's do a light color blue. There we go. That looks real nice. So at this point, you can let it dry like that. If you're not happy with it, you can take more water and just tap it over those areas where there's already paint starting to dry, and this will make it like a blistery bubble effect. It'll make that paint start to just like pop out a little bit. This always reminds me of like a Jawbreaker look. Okay, so I'm happy with this so far. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to blow dry this right quick, and then when I come back, I'm just going to do some outlining, and that'll finish up our little painting here. Alright, so I'm back. I'm going to be using a DentaPen permanent marker. I'm going to be using the fine tip on this side. You can also use a Sharpie. This is what I have on hand. And I'm going to try to carefully trace my outline. And this will just make everything really pop. Okay. Let's connect these pieces here. And then I'm going to use a pilot pen to do the lines inside the wings. And it's kind of hard to see because I've already painted over some of these areas here. And I would say doing the butterfly, this is probably one of the most difficult parts of it, is trying to get this to look natural and identical on both sides. It's the most difficult part for me anyways. And then after this, I'll just come back with a eraser and try to erase any pencil marks that might be showing through. And then this will be done. So I'm going to add a little bit of shadowing in here. Give it some depth in this corner. just like this. And then I'm going to take my eraser and again, just trying to get off any pencil marks that might be left over. And you do want to be careful if your paper's wet. You don't want to tear into your paper. And there you have it. I hope this video was enjoyable and helpful. I'm just going to initial, and I am done. Thank you for watching, and post a picture of what you've done. Bye.